The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello there, this is Tara Cooper. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is part 2 of our My Isagenix training webinar. Now, if you're just getting started and you have not seen the first part of the training for your setting up of My Isagenix and also setting up your profile, you may wish to go back to where you got this one and go back to step 1. And if you don't know where that is, if you just found this through a link on Facebook, for example, you will want to go to YouTube and look for me. Now, I actually don't know how you do that, but I have a channel called Tara Cooper and I only have 3 videos there. But when you go to my channel and you see my 3 videos, you'll see that there is a My Isagenix setup right here. There's a Live Your Dreams webinar 2 and a Live Your Dreams MIT part 1. So these are obviously from a different training session that I did, but feel free to use them. They're definitely useful. But My Isagenix setup is what you want to do before doing this specific webinar if you have not already subscribed to My Isagenix. All right, so let's get right down to it. Today we're going to focus on contacts. So this is what you see. You would have already set your stuff up. So you're going into your back office. If you've forgotten, just go into your Isagenix back office and go to the tab that says resources and go down to My Isagenix. And that's where you'll get into this, which looks very similar to your back office. And as you can see here, there's a simple button that says return to back office if and when you're done and you want to just go back to your back office. All right, so we're going to focus on this area here tonight: contacts, manage contacts, my calendar, prospecting activity, and coaching activity. And this button right here, add contact, is a very simple way for us to add a contact. So I'm going to start off by just making up a new contact for myself. And note, this is a test. All right, so I would really recommend that you do this for yourself so that you can start testing your own, messages that you're sending out and things like that. You want to see what it looks like before you start sending it to people, because you'll be very impressed, I think, once you start seeing the actual finished product of what you're spending some time on here. And it's not going to take a lot of time, I promise you that. But tonight we're just focused on entering contacts, okay? So you might have a list currently that is in your binder, or maybe in your cell phone, or you've got some sort of folder or formatting on, a computer program or something where you've got a list of contacts. So they could be prospects, they could be your own personally enrolled members, they could be your business partners who have put their hand up in your team that said, I'd like to learn from you. So you've got contacts from all different areas. If you're anything like me, and I have to admit, I'm going to be completely transparent, I have contacts everywhere. I have a binder that I started off with 4 years ago that has a great follow-up chart. So it's got the name, the email, the phone number, where I met them, the information that I received from them about what it is they're interested in, and it's all handwritten in a binder. I love paper pencil contacts, but I find that if I don't have my binder with me and I'm somewhere out, or I'm, in a position where I have a few minutes and I don't have my contacts with me, then I can't follow up with people when I'm out of my house. So I have to say that I've been really challenged lately and keep forgetting about how amazing My Isagenix as a tool is, because it keeps everything online. So virtually anywhere you can get your contacts and follow up with people. So, or even contact your current members just to see how their cleanse is going. So this is really great to keep up with. Clearly, we need to have permission from the people that we're adding to actually send emails to them. Okay, so this is preventing spam from being done here. And we also need to remind people that we're never going to sell or solicit their contact information to anybody. So this is for your personal use only. You do have an option to import contacts as well. So you could actually choose a CSV file. And if you're not clear on how that works, there are some really great tutorials that you can find if you just Google, importing contacts and such from, say an Outlook file or a Gmail account to a CSV file. So basically it just has to be saved that way so that you can import it that way. Now, I personally wouldn't want to import all my contacts into here because not every single contact would be someone that I would be adding here. I want to be very specific in who I'm adding to my Isagenix. Most of the time it's prospects, people that I've connected with, whether they're personal friends or family members of mine who I've been talking to over the last few years, or whether they're just a complete stranger that I bumped into at the grocery store lineup. And the cool thing is right here in the notes section, you can write a slight note about, I just met this person at the grocery store lineup and we discussed the ages of our children and the fact that she has to go back to work in 2 months and she doesn't want to have to go back to work. So just whatever notes that you can put in there to remember, because weeks and months down the road when you've followed up with the person a few times and maybe you've stopped following up but you return to your list, you're going to remember, oh yeah, that's where I met that person, because you won't really recognize their name necessarily. And here I'm going to save contacts. All right, so now what I have is a really cool little summary here. Right away, it's going to show me that this person is a prospect. And if this person is a member, I can actually select member. And this is really, really, really important for you to keep in mind that when you're in here, you want to make sure you're putting the correct information. So if this is a member, but you've got them as a prospect, you will not be able to do coaching emails with them for a 30-day system or the athletes pack, for example. So if I want to be able to send, and I'm actually going to keep this as a prospect right now, because the first thing I'm going to share with you is how simple it is to do a prospect message. But now I want to select what group this person belongs in. So, was this a business partner? And actually, I'll explain to you, I added that as a category. So let me just back up here. I'm going to say manage contact groups. And here is where I have all my list of things. Some of these I've added myself. Some of them were there based on what Isagenix thinks that we require. And this is great because we've got energy and performance, healthy aging, hot leads, inactive account leads. So this might mean that you've been in the business like me for several years and you've got people that have discontinued using the products and maybe even terminated their account because they didn't renew. This is where I might start putting any of my inactive account people into the system so that I can start sending the odd information every once in a while. It might be, a new product that comes out, for example, that I want to just share with past customers. Or maybe there's a new promotion coming up and, the person may have joined to do a 30-day system 2 years ago, and maybe they were not able to, use the whey, for example. And now knowing that we have a dairy-free option, I could be sending the messages out to that person. So, it's good. This is just a great list to keep people in the right place. So you want to revisit this list every once in a while. And purchase, that just simply means if you've purchased leads, and there are ways that you can purchase leads in my Isagenix tool. If the person specifically was a prospect and they're talking about weight loss, then that's where you might want to, put weight loss as the category that they're going to fit in. Now, wealth creation is a great one. It's a very broad one. I'm going to personally add one about moms. Actually, I'm going to be more specific to that because I might have a contact list that is moms interested in nutrition. Okay, and now I'm also going to add a list for moms looking for a business from home. Okay, so I've got 2 different prospect lists there. They are going to be prospects. But now that's just to show you how easy it is to add your own groups, because you want to have very specific groups so that when you're sending a message or an email out, you're not having to retype the message to those 10 people in the one group for, say, for example, energy and performance. You don't have to send 10 individual messages out to those people in that group. You'll send one message to that group, but it will be personalized for each person by pulling their first name in and their information in. So it's a really cool system, and it makes your life a whole lot easier. So here we are. Mom's interested in nutrition, and I could maybe summarize that to make it even smaller so that it fits there. And Mom's looking for a business. These will be prospect groups. Now, again, you can even delete some of these if you want. There's some here that obviously I have added that I can delete. Okay, so obviously prospects, and this is where, a few years now that I've been using my Isagenix, before all the updates, I didn't necessarily separate the prospects. So now we get even more specific with, sorting them in different categories of the prospect is interested in these different areas. Okay, so I'll just get out of there. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you really simply. Oh, and actually here, so we've got, here's the date that I added the person. I think this is actually specific to when I added the person, their first name, their last name, their email, of course, their telephone number. And as you see, just to protect everybody, I've taken the phone numbers out, and I respect the fact that everyone can see emails here, but I'm sure that I won't have to have any issues with people spamming any of my contacts. So thank you very much. But as you see over here, the type of person is a prospect if it's orange, and is purple when it's a member. So it's a good quick check too to see, okay, I've got Tara Cooper and I've got myself added a few times, because like I said, it's good to practice on yourself and send yourself messages. But I've got myself as a prospect now and as a member. And this will allow me to, send myself certain things that I want to just test out before I send it out to a group of people. So this little pencil here is going to be our editing tool. So this is where I'm actually able to, sorry guys, this is where I'm actually able to update information. So here I can see that I put a note that it was a test. The contact was added November 26, 2013 at 8:36. It's very specific. It says a manual input form. So that means that I personally entered this in my Isagenix. There are ways that you can actually generate leads to your page, which will bring leads to you. And I'll explain that in another webinar. But for this time, I'm just going to be focused on the manual input form right now. I could add a note. So let's just say, for example, and I'm just going to obviously make this up. I met in grocery store lineup. Interested in the business. Doesn't want to go back to work. Whatever information will make it easy for you to remember. So I'm going to save the appointment note. And now I'm actually going to create myself a follow-up. So I'm going to add a note, and this time I'm going to do a follow-up. So I told Tara when I was in the grocery store that I'm going to send her information, which I will generate in my Isagenix program. I'm going to be changing the date of a follow-up to be tomorrow, because I told her that I'd be calling her tomorrow. We set up a tentative appointment for 1 o'clock because her child is sleeping then. Call to discuss information sent. Ask what she liked best about the video. And get questions answered. You can be as specific or as basic as you want. I'm going to set the appointment. Now this, you can see there's a little calendar here. This is setting up an appointment. So it's actually saying it's an upcoming event. Now that's going to populate into my calendar. And I'm just noticing here, I did not put the category. So I just want to make sure I'm putting mom looking for a business. Okay, so that when, maybe months down the road, Tara still doesn't join me in the business, but I'm going to continue to send her messages every once in a while based on information about moms looking for business, okay? So it just makes it a lot easier. Of course, there's a lot of really great things here. We can print the history if we want to. We can send an email right from here. We can text information, call the person right away. So I'm just going to get out of here, and I'm going to go to the last page, which I believe, okay, and here we go. We've got my mom, we've got me, my husband, and one of my great friends. So what this is really cool is I just want to show you this little red button right here. So as you probably noticed, even in page 1, and I'll go back to page 1, you'll notice there are circled numbers. This is actually giving you feedback on how many times those people have opened your information. So meaning you've sent a message to them. And if it's someone in purple, that means that it's a member, and I've sent them actual coaching information about their system, their cleanse, their whatever system they started on. If it's somebody in orange, that means that they're a prospect and they've actually opened the information that I gave to them. Okay, so that would be an email that I sent from my Isagenix as a prospect letter, maybe giving them access to the videos or some other information they've requested. And it will show me how many times they've opened the email that I sent them. So here I can see that, certain people have opened things a certain number of times. Now, because I've made myself a test, here it shows that I've opened something 51 times, or I've done 51 things. So when I click there, and it's not going to work for me. Okay, so I'm going to just click here. I went to the pencil. It's going to show me all the information that I've ever sent to Tara. So here we go. Way at the beginning, I sent Isagenix Revealed, and that's a really great video that you can send, which is actually David Wood talking to your prospect, which is awesome. And then, of course, Tara got started, so she became a member, and now I started sending Isa Diary series. So that happens every single day. There are messages that are sent every single day so that it's coaching somebody through the cleanse day, the shake day, the cleanse day, the shake day, so on and so forth. And it's showing me all the email histories that I've sent. So there it is. I started with Isagenix Revealed, back May 31st, 2011. Then I tested and sent Isa Diary series in 2012. Started it again because sometimes, we just want to try it out again, or maybe we're doing another cleanse and that person wants us to send them the information again. So these are ways that we can check to see if the person, first of all, is even opening our messages. It's a great tool. Now, I wouldn't use that as a tool to say, hey, I noticed that you've opened my email 14 times. That would kind of be creepy for the person on the other end of the phone, I would think, but it gives you an idea of their interest level. So if you've sent a message to a prospect through this tool and you see that they've opened your email 4 times today, might be a good time for you to follow up with them because clearly they have taken the time to look at it 4 times. Another example might be, you've sent an email to that person and for a couple days they didn't open it, and you followed up with them a few times, but you haven't heard back. So it might be another way that you realize, okay, they didn't open it. I understand people get multiple, like sometimes hundreds of emails within a couple of days. So clearly your email is now probably buried amongst all the other emails and the junk that came along. So it might be another way to realize that, I'm going to send another email to that person. Maybe message them on their phone as well and say, I just wanted to let you know that I'm sending you another email. I'm not sure that you've been able to, take the time to take a look at the video I sent you last week. So I'm just going to refresh your memory and send you the same information again. So that's a really great tool for you to just follow up more efficiently as well. All right. So with that contact section, we are going to dive into a few other details, but I'm going to wait for another webinar for that. But before we do, of course, your manage contacts, we've already seen what that does. It also shows you any appointments in here that you have, which I'm going to go in more detail. It shows me also that I have 100 contacts, and it shows me a bit of a grid here on, when the contacts were added. But when I go here to my calendar, it's going to show me that I've made myself some appointments. So there's a follow-up call there and a follow-up call there. And if I had other appointments scheduled, then they'll be showing on here as well. I can sync this to any other calendar I prefer to use. So I can, I have an iPhone. I can make sure that it connects with my iPhone calendar. And as you see, there's a lot of different calendar options here. So it makes it really easy. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in My Isagenix every single day to see the calendar. And that makes me really excited because I wasn't signing into My Isagenix every day unless I was setting someone up on a new coaching email, doing a new prospect email, or setting up a new contact. So this is a really great new improvement. Also in your contact section, you're going to see your prospect activity. And like I said, that's just going to show you any time here that you've seen people actually looking at your information. And coaching activity, again, the same thing. When you're sending somebody some coaching, so a 30-day series is pretty much what I send people unless they're doing a 9-day. That will show me that I've actually seen that they're opening the information and hopefully taking advice from those emails. And I'm going to stop there today, but I will be following through with more information through other webinars for you to learn about how you can do some marketing campaigns and really utilize these emails that you can do through those contacts. And before then, I'd love for you to try it out, test it out on your own. You may actually become a pro before I even need to show you those things. So take care, guys. Have fun.